Ryan Coogler's Sinners opens with a haunting homecoming as twin brothers Smoke and Stack, both played with magnetic duality by Michael B. Jordan, return to 1932 Mississippi, a landscape scarred by cotton fields and Jim Crow's shadow. Fresh from a stint working for the Chicago outfit, they arrive with stolen mob money and a plan to carve out a sanctuary, a juke joint built on land wrested from a racist local. But their dreams of reinvention collide with a deeper, older evil, one that pulses beneath the Delta soil like a dormant curse. What begins as a gritty tale of redemption morphs into a feverish Southern Gothic odyssey, blending supernatural horror, blues mythology, and unflinching social commentary. The twins' journey, part crime saga, part vampire thriller, unfolds with operatic chaos, where pickled garlic becomes a weapon, juke joints transform into fortresses, and the dead whisper through guitar strings. Coogler, ever the cinematic alchemist, refuses to let Sinners settle into a single genre. It's a war film without battlefields, a love story without simplicity, and a vampire tale where the real monsters wear human skin. The supernatural elements, embodied by Jack O'Connell's sly, seductive Irish vampire Remick, serve as metaphor as much as menace. Remick's hunger for power mirrors the systemic vampirism of the era, the exploitation of black labor, the theft of culture, and the commodification of pain. When Sammy, Miles Cotton, the twins' cousin, plucks his dobro, his music becomes a conduit for ancestral rage and resilience, a soundtrack to resistance that Remick seeks to corrupt. The film's most chilling moments aren't fangs or bloodshed, but the quiet terror of a Klansman's hood draped casually over a bedpost, or the way Annie, Wunmi Mosaku, Smoke's former lover, carries generations of grief in her sidelong glances. Jordan's dual performance is a masterclass in subtlety and scale. As Smoke, he smolders with wounded stoicism, a man choking on regrets and nicotine. As Stack, he's all swagger and calculated charm, a hustler whose smile never quite reaches his eyes. The digital trickery of their shared scenes never distracts. Instead, it heightens the eerie symmetry of their bond, two halves of a soul fractured by war and survival. Their chemistry with the supporting cast, particularly Mosaku's luminous, heart-wrenching turn as Annie, grounds the film's grandiosity and raw humanity. Even Haley Steinfeld's Mary, a character teetering on caricature as a white woman entangled in the twins' past, transcends cliché in a late-act reckoning that lays bare the cost of complicity. The film's heartbeat, though, is its music. Ludwig Göransson's score weaves Delta blues, hip-hop beats, and Irish jigs into a sonic tapestry that feels both ancient and urgent. A climactic juke joint sequence erupts into a cross-temporal dance-off, b-boys and traditional African dancers moving in unison as Sammy's guitar screams. It's a bravado moment, one that could have tipped into gimmickry but instead crystallizes the film's thesis, music as rebellion, memory, and time travel. When Remick co-opts an Irish folk tune, twisting it into a weapon, the scene becomes a sly indictment of cultural theft, a reminder that the blues, born from black suffering, has always been preyed upon by those who crave its power without its pain. Visually, Sinners is a feast of contrasts. The Delta's golden fields and claustrophobic shanties are shot with a painter's eye, each frame steeped in sweat and amber light. Coogler's action sequences, a vampire siege on the juke joint, a midnight chase through cotton rows, are kinetic yet precise, balancing brutality with balletic grace. But the quieter moments linger longest, Smoke and Annie's reunion, a wordless exchange of longing and loss. Grace, Lee Junli, a Chinese immigrant grocer, silently mirroring her daughter's movements across a segregated street. A dance of survival in a town that demands her invisibility. Not every risk pays off. The first act sags under exposition, and some subplots, like Grace's familial struggles, feel abbreviated, their emotional potential untapped. Remick's vampiric cohort, while chilling, occasionally veer into camp, their menace diluted by overcrowded CGI. Yet these missteps pale against the film's ambitions. Sinners is less a narrative than an incantation, summoning ghosts of the past to haunt the present. It's in the way Sammy's guitar seems to channel Robert Johnson's Devil Deal desperation, or how the juke joint's walls vibrate with the echoes of black joy and defiance. By the film's end, as the credits roll over a reprise of Sammy's blues riff, the weight of history feels both acknowledged and challenged. Coogler doesn't offer catharsis so much as a charge, to remember, to resist, to resurrect. Sinners is messy, overstuffed, and unapologetically bold, a film that demands you sit with its discomfort, its beauty, and its unanswerable questions. It's not just a movie about surviving evil. It's about how survival itself becomes an act of rebellion. In an era where escapism dominates, Sinners dares to be a mirror, reflecting the horrors we've inherited and the grace it takes to face them. Hold on to your armrests. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay up to date with all my movie reviews and movie analysis. I always appreciate your time, and I hope to see you in my next video.